Hey gang, Uncle Todd, Sunny here for the mid-season finale of Stranger Things. We open with Joyce trying to reason with Derrick and explaining about the. Hold on. Got the color part. Explaining about the monsters and that Mr. Watson is not his friend. And he says, okay, I believe you. And then when they untie him so they can move him, he makes a run for it. But he can't get out of the barn, so he goes up in the loft. When who should arrive? A Demogorgon. Well, Joyce, wanting to protect the child because she has a mother, grabs an axe and starts wielding it to get the Demogorgon to back off. That impresses Derrick because I don't think he thinks his parents would have done the same. Just a feeling I get. Anyway, she gets it out of the barn, but when it comes in for the final attack on her, it gets hit by Steve with his car. So, seeing that this is a problem, the Demogorgon takes off. At which point, Steve follows, and it goes through a rift into the Upside Down. And after a bit of arguing, Steve floors the beamer and shoots through the opening before it completely seals. They are now in the Upside Down. Luckily, they are still able to track the Demogorgon, but due to another argument between Steve and Dustin, he wrecks into the wall. And I mean wrecks. The car is embedded in it. Don't think he's getting that car back. Let's see then what happens. Mike and Lucas on their bikes are heading for the barn, and they see one of Holly's classmates, Debbie, getting taken into custody by the army. So they rush to tell them at the barn. So, let's see. Turns out the army is grabbing all the kids in that class. There are other kids that have been taken. Will saw other kids. They were like he had been with the root embedded in them. So Vecna's ramping up taking the kids. Now Dr. K thinks Elle is behind this, and so she's planning to use the kids as bait. And they take them to the base, but Erica, she was posted there, and she radios back what barracks they're in. Now, the tunnels that Hop and Elle have been using to move around, they're under the base too. They're all over the place. They've dug crazy amounts of tunnels. Or maybe the tunnels always existed. Don't really explain that. Anyway. Or maybe I've forgotten. It's been a while since several seasons. Anyways. They come up with a plan to get the kids out through the tunnel. There is one under that barracks. At which point, Robin goes off on a little tangent about the Great Escape and the three tunnels they used, Tom, Dick, and Harry. And she thinks they should use Dick, which was the one under the lavatory, outhouse, washroom, whatever you want to call it. Since it's on an army base, let's go with latrine. Uh, all they need is to have someone inside there to take some measurements so they know exactly where to dig up. Hmm. Who should they? Who could they use? Derrick. Now, now Max, who's in the Upside Down, or not exactly, uh, she takes Holly back to her cave and tells how she got there and where exactly they are. They are in Henry's mind and are basically living in a memory. See, Max died but came back. And when she came back, she was in the institute with all the dead mutants. And she goes through a door, and then she's in high school, where she sees a young Joyce, among others. And it's 1959, and that's when she realizes she's in memories. And at one point, she kept going and ended up going in a circle back to the institute where she heard her song. So she followed the song. It was playing when Lucas visits her at the hospital. And just as she's about to get in back through the rift into her world, the song stopped, it finished, rift closed, and Henry showed up. And he chased her and chased her and chased her until she came to the cave, which he would not enter, and actually seemed afraid. I'll have to get back to those two. Derrick goes to the base. He has a little lunchbox with him, and they're not sure they want to take him in or not. You shouldn't be restricted. And then he explains his whole class is missing. Oh, so they take him in to the barracks, where he goes to the latrine. In the box is a walkie-talkie, and he contacts Joyce and lets her know he's in. How far the latrine is from the main in the barracks. He paced it off, and his next mission is to talk to the rest of the kids and find out who's had contact with Henry. So he starts doing that, and a lot of the kids think he's nuts. Debbie knows who he's talking about, and eventually he gathers up a whole group, and they stick together. Now then, Elle and Hop have gotten to the base that's in the Upside Down, and they're trying to figure out how, if they even can sneak into it when they get contacted by Dustin. And they want, they want to meet up with him, and he's like, okay, stay there. We'll be there eventually. They don't like that idea, but they don't know where Hop is. Meanwhile, Justin, thanks to the fact he actually paid attention in algebra, has done some calculations and realizes that the wall isn't blocking anyone from getting into something. The wall surrounds the Upside Down and keeps anyone from getting out. And the center, the lab where Elle and Henry were created. They decided to take a trip. L has found that there's 7 seconds between lightning strikes, or thunder between the lightning and the thunder. She can then jump over the fence onto a roof, open the gate for Hop. He's not sure about it, and they argue for a bit, but then he decides, okay, we've got to try. She succeeds, although she mistimes the second jump when she's trying to get to the guard tower to shut down the alarm to open the gate, and ends up having to zap the guard there. Although she may have planned it that way so that she could get the guard's attention. It's up to you to decide on that one. Anyways, they head into the lab. Unfortunately, the lieutenant they had tied up in the school bus frees himself and heads for the base. Now, they capture a lab rat who works for Dr. K, but he doesn't have the clearance to get into the areas she does. And that's when the alarms go off. The hedgehogs turned on throughout the base, and I was incapacitated. Well, K goes to the lab, finds L, and L is like, I know what you're keeping. You'll underestimate that. And K's like, I've been looking for you a long time, and I really want to help you. Anyways, the lieutenant leading a bunch of guards comes upon a room. Think they spot Hop, shoot into a glass case. It's the lab tech. Hop shoots the other guards, misses the lieutenant. They have a big fight where he gets cut by the lieutenant with a knife, but eventually he manages to punch him into oblivion. Unfortunately, he's then grabbed by one of the upside down creatures. Kay walks in. She'd set that up. She kind of figured on this and wants to know what he knows, and he's not going to tell her anything. Now, she makes a slight mistake here. She shows what the temperature controls attached to the beast, and how cold energizes it. Heat causes it to go into a stupor. Elle shows up, and she's trying to whammy her, but she can't. This kind of amuses Kay. And then Elle whips out a knife and tries to cut her. Well, that's not going to work. So Kay starts slapping her around, and just when she's about to deliver the coup de grace, Hop has used that time to swing out with his feet and hit the temp control, and he just beats the bejesus out of Kay. And I don't blame him. She's a nasty piece of work. Anyway. Hop gives Elle a compass. He breaks out a window, tells her to get to the woods. He'll take care of Vecna. No. She wants to go with him. He said, you can't. He uses Kay's card to open the door and heads in, shutting it behind him. Now, back on the right side up. Will and Lucas break through the floor of the bathroom using digging tools and stuff that they got from Murray. And Joyce signals Derrick. He's got a little hole in the lid of the lunchbox so he can see the blinking light on the walkie-talkie, and he sends Debbie first. He starts sending them kids individually So it doesn't look weird that a bunch of kids head towards the latrine. And they start taking him down, leading him through the path to the other side where Murray will load them into a van and take them out of town, away from Vecna and everything. And this works pretty good. Except some of their digging had damaged some of the pipes, and one of them is starting to leak. And eventually that water is starting to make its way under the door. Now, Will and Lucas realize this, and they are trying to fix it. But too much water goes past. One of the non-picked kids sees it and goes to alert the guard. There's like 3 or 4 kids left in the group, and Derrick hustles them all into the bathroom, and Will, and Lucas try to block the door from the soldiers. They get the kids down, most of the kids. Lucas starts leading them down the thing. Joyce signals Robin, "You gotta go now. We're about to be discovered." So Murray and Robin head out. The guards break through, and they arrest Joyce, Mike, Derrick, Will, and the remaining 2 or 3 kids. While that happens, back in Vecna's memory, Max says she now has a plan to get them both out. But for the moment, to keep Henry from suspecting anything, Holly has to return to the house. And she reluctantly agrees, but she's going to do it because they have other kids to save. I like Holly. Anyway, while the kids have been led to the commanding officer, the Demogorgons start showing up. Pandemonium breaks loose. They're shooting and firing. Some Demogorgons show up and start chasing the van that Murray's driving. Some are in the tunnels chasing Lucas and the other kids. Now, soldiers are putting up a good fight. But Vecna shows up. And he demolishes all of them. He doesn't even have to move his hand. He doesn't even have to move. He's just, his powers. And the Demogorgons take the remaining kids before Mike, who's using the chaos to try and get him back to the tunnel, doesn't succeed. They get the kids in the tunnel. They overturn the van and get the kids there too. Vecna sees Will, lifts him up mentally, taunts him, talks about how weak he is, drops him, returns to the upside down. Back in the upside down, Hedgehog turns off. The door opens. Hopper motions for Elle, and she follows him back to the prisoner. It's not Vecna. It's Callie. Now, I don't know if you remember Callie. Callie was one of the other escaped children from the Institute that was experimented on, that she met in season 2 when she ran off for a while. And they parted in that season. calling each other sister. And when Callie opens her eyes, because she's been under the effects of that hedgehog for who knows how long, and sees Elle, she smiles. Someone has come to save her. Now, we are now getting to the slam bang finale. Because after Vecna returned, Demogorgons showed back up, and all of Will's friends, Mike, Robin, Joyce, his mom, Lucas, they're all being attacked by Demogorgons. And Will, earlier in the episode, he and Robin had this discussion. Robin had noticed the way he looks at Mike and realizes, is my interpretation, that, like her, he is in love with someone of the same gender. And she had talked to him about her first crush, which ended up dating Steve. And she was devastated. And what brought her out of it was watching old home movies of herself as a child. And she had always felt different and afraid of her true self. And she learned to accept her true self. Pep talked to Will because he's afraid a lot. But in this moment, he remembers back to meeting Mike and becoming best friends, and he embraces his true self. And at this point, his powers that he had attained in the Upside Down due to what Vecna did to him, and he stops every Demogorgon from attacking anyone. And then he lifts them up and obliterates all of them. And that's where we are. Wow. Great episode. This was an all-out action episode. A lot of things got solved. A lot of things are still open because we've got 4 more episodes. And like this episode, the next 4 are all like an hour and a half long. So they're like all mini movies instead of like just episodes. Wow. A lot of excitement. Linda Hamilton is like one of the most despicable villains I've ever seen portrayed. Oh. And she's that one thing. Hubris. And that's what did her in and allowed Hop to get the upper hand. Gotta watch out for being smug. When you're a smug villain, you get careless. Because you think you can't be beat. And I like Derrick becoming a hero, where before he was just a foul-mouthed little brat. But then when you saw his family in the 3rd episode, you kind of understood why. But, yeah. Joyce even says, maybe he's the way he is because no one's ever gave him a chance. We're going to give him a chance. And Joyce, being a good mom, knows how to talk to kids. Just like with Elle in season 1. She starts to mother him, and he rises to the occasion because of it. Although he still calls people fart knocker. Can't change everything at once, but yeah, love the little kid actor. He is really good in that role, and I guess he's the breakout star for this half of the season. Well deserved. Yeah, looking forward to next week when they start the new episodes. Might not get till into January. Christmas is always a hectic place, but really looking forward to the next half of the season and to see what Will is capable of. Pretty sure he's gonna end up being the one that eventually defeats Vecna, or him and Elle together, or him, Kaylee. That who knows? I think it's going to be an all-out assault on Vecna. It's going to take everybody to get the final defeat. Well, that's all for now. Please hit like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.